With the loss of through expresses and a tightened grip by Western Region, the Somerset and Dorset slipped back into being a country line. The upside of this was that the rundown to closure offered everyone easy access. No problem shed bashing. It's a pretty cold winter day here at Templecombe, where we're in telephoto mode for a couple of shots. The rail approach to the station is in the background. An incline led to typical southern architecture. At Templecombe station, the main line was steamy, even with diesel hydraulic. The real thing on the far side. That was probably the pilot to top and tail the Bournemouth train. Northbound trains departed normally. Driving around the area, items of interest appeared from time to time. Early one morning we came across one of Wake's coaches, who had famously held up closure from December 1965 to the following March, leading to a skeleton timetable. This permitted further filming. The Beeb were intensely interested too, and this impinged on us, as we shall see. Here's the railway again. We've come to Wincanton. When we're back on track again, a northbound local is going to take us on to Evercreech Junction. The Cow and Gate factory, later Unigate, is close to the station. Descent into Evercreech Junction marks the end of relatively level territory. It was here that the BBC influence took over. We were on the footbridge close to them, not entirely to their liking, and the music occasioned by the Highbridge departure was for their benefit. Early on at Midford, we had found that microphone and camera should stay quite close for the proper sound perspective as seen on screen. So here at Evercreech Junction, on the final weekend, you see us doing just that. At a subsequent screening of the film Puffed Out, S&D stalwart Mike Palmer, now much missed, identified himself and family watching the last trains. At this point we had put a 1966 penny on the line. Could the sheer number of coins have led to wheel slip? Luckily we found ours. On the branch we had high hopes for a tracking shot. West of Glastonbury and Street, a road ran beside the line, ideal for a sports car with the top down. Here comes our train, but unfortunately at speed the road proved to be very bumpy. Then to cap it all, we ran into a herd of cows, so we just fell about laughing. Travelling across this almost level landscape, I was fascinated by the continual melting of exhaust into the trees. The line ran past the works and into Highbridge Station. Seeing me making sound recordings, the late Bill May very kindly invited me up onto his footplate, where I was closely followed by the cameraman. That's how we were able to record a wonderful impromptu interview with Bill.
push the tanks on, but they put oil in the track, they cover it with a full mill. Getting out from the plant. What are they going to do when you stop taking the tanks down? I don't know, making arrangements for that. What, by rail or by rail? Yeah, by rail. Oh yeah, that's all covered. Main covering base and they're making a sighting of this, you see. I make the bridge, and then Bristol men or get the mill, North men, and in the week the North men come up. And the traversing crane were on the all night, worked by a steam engine in the corner, and a cotton rope was driven on a cotton rope, travelled up and down. All the work was done here. This was the main shops of Esmond. Burnham being closed, I expect, around about 1953, 54, the last book train was. Of course, it's taken out now. They used it for excursions. During the summer they ran excursions. But you used to have quite a good service there one time. In fact, we used to have a London train out of there. 1:45 on Saturday. And one night went through now. Well, which way did that go then? To Bristol. We used to bring it out of the down line, and then the Western engine to come out and look up and away.
Milk and milk products had been a good customer. As Bill predicted, the factory at Basin Bridge retained its service for some time after closure of the whole system. Hymex themselves have long passed into history too, of course, except in preservation. Battling against winter weather needed great care at times, but did add veracity to our account. Ken is trying to get his exposure right here. The last snows added interest, but also underlined the difficulty of keeping the railway moving safely. We were lucky to get this shot late on a winter afternoon at Shapwick. The local hunt was clearly enjoying the weather. Before Bill May went on to the great railway in the sky, where trains never run late, he wrote that a driver was given 10 shillings if the hounds stopped his train. At Shepton Mallet, early on a morning of tricky conditions, I was again lucky to have anything on film at all. The climb to Shepton passed through a deep cutting at Cannard's Grave. There was one last chance to film the effect, of which there are a few more seconds here than originally shown. Travelling on this handwritten return ticket between Shepton Mallet and Binniger, I filmed Windsor Hill Tunnel in both directions, again working camera and recorder alone. The only way that could be done was to put the sound recorder on a seat and leave it to its own devices. Ever looking to the future, you might say, the S&D already has EU on the ticket. That looks hopeful for a return journey. There's the chief cameraman arriving now. On the downside of the Mendips, there's a quick glimpse of Chilcompton Tunnel. After Midsummer Norton, we can depart from Radstock, where the line is hemmed in between the North Somerset line and roads, including the notorious level crossing. The line passes Rithlington Colliery and arrives at minute Shoscombe and Single Hill Halt, said to be surprisingly well used. On January the 2nd, 1966, we waited in sunshine at Wellow for the RCTS locos Exmouth and Pilot 31639 to return light, but they were about an hour late. This footage has been rescued. I'm seen here adjusting sound levels on the recorder. Having this facility allowed us to capture the Dot and Carry One tank and the atmosphere of a winter evening at Wellow with pressure lamps lit. Moseying around after closure gave an additional photo opportunity. One could sense the ghosts of trains which recently passed this way. Additional footage allows us to see that the lady leaving the train appears to walk down the track to get home. The S&D crosses the Camerton to Limpley Stoke branch at Midfern and the Bath to Frome Road.
This is where we heard from the guard.
Now when they're shutting the line, they're all travelling. Too late. It's like shutting the door when the horse is gone, isn't it? Yeah. Right. You've got about 200 on your lot. They've been travelling these last 3 weeks. Good traffic been gone off. It's 6 or 7 years. Yeah. One time it used to, all the beer traffic used to come this way from the Midlands, Burton, you know, right to the west of England. Over this line used to average about every 24 hours 1,000 wagons. About 15 years ago. But it's the local people which shoot the beauty of the train every day. See, that's where it is. This is the people who's going to take the effect of, not the through passengers, are they? No. They got alternative routes, see? Yeah. These people have.
After this glimpse of the sheds, we see a southbound departure from Green Park heading over the Western Region line, filmed in a working lunch hour, probably without the lunch. There was a storm of protest, but the closure process had ground painfully on, and eventually only one locomotive, a pannier tank, was left in steam.
For mopping up.
Locomotives giving good service were all going apparently for scrap, but in fact were the springboard for standard gauge preservation.